When I was a student at Loyola University in Los Angeles, I began taking clay classes to fill out my requirements. Robert Carr Lindsay was my professor, and he was very inspiring and got me excited and began my love of clay and the search for the perfect piece. Hello, I'm David Porras, and I'm a potter from Yucaipa, California, and I'm real excited to have an opportunity to talk to you about my process. I did start working as a production potter in a factory, but also I opened a studio in Playa del Rey. Ran a studio there for about 5 years. I later decided to go to law school. I graduated with a Juris Doctor degree and have been practicing law for the past 32 years. I throw things, throw is a term, throw things on the potter's wheel, and I don't use any molds or guides. It's all intuitive to what I think the piece should be. And so that allows a lot of freedom and spontaneity that is really sort of the hallmark of making pieces, and that's what you want to have. You want to have a spontaneous and fresh piece each and every time. I do believe I have a certain style. It's the Yucaipa style. I'll say that because I had a friend at one point saying how neat the pottery that was being made in Germany from this one particular town, and that it was a town that was famous for its salt glazed pottery. And I had to think for a second. My retort was, geez, my style and the Yucaipa style is the style that I make. My craftsman upbringing, and I do consider myself a craftsman more than an artist, is to make things that work. The pictures have to work. The mug has to feel good in your hand, and the jar the lid's got to fit. Dishwasher safe, microwave oven, and more importantly, use every day. My background is as a production potter, where I worked in a factory and I would make the same thing 8 hours a day. I got very good at making things, and so that's no longer the challenge for me. The challenge for me is to make unique items, and each piece of pottery that I make, I have well over 100 different glazes that I use, and a glaze is a color that I put over the surface, and mixing and matching and making those colors work together is what I'm looking for when I open up a kiln. And I get the experience of doing that, and it's always challenging, always frustrating, but it always brings me back. I fire pottery in 3 different atmospheres, and the first is natural gas, the second is electric, and the third is wood fire. Now, I don't have a wood fire kiln, but I do have the natural gas and electric, so I'm more experienced with that. But each of them has a tremendous technical challenge, and that creates an excitement and wonder and anxiety and pure joy when the kiln is opened, because I'm not quite sure what I'll get. And because of that, it continues to challenge me to make very interesting pieces. I was giving a demonstration at an art show locally here in Yucaipa when a gentleman walked up and looked at me, and I looked at him, and he said, "I'll be back." And I said, "Okay." And he left, and that was a Saturday. On Sunday, I see the gentleman approach me, and he's got a bag, brown paper bag. And he says, "I want to show you something." And he opened up the bag and pulled out a piece of pottery. And he says, "I got this from you in 1975. And I said, "I remember making that piece." And it's because that I remember the experience of going through. And even though it had been 35 years at that point, from the time that I had originally made that pot, I remember that pot. because I experience each piece. It's personal to me. The technical side of making something is not a big challenge. What I'm challenged by is bringing the piece to a final form. It's always the search for that perfect piece. And I've been making pots for a long time. Haven't got the perfect piece yet, but that's the challenge that gets me out into the studio every day. My wife Nanette and my partner Nanette is got a significant background in art. She has a fine arts degree and art history degree from Loyola Marymount. She also has a certificate degree from UCLA in interior design and environmental design. Also, she has a certificate from University of Redlands in teaching. And so we collaborate here at our home studio. She's very good and has established her own style with the carving process on pieces. So people ask me this question of how long it takes to make something. I can tell them the initial throwing process after you get the clay ready is minutes, 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. There are several steps beyond that, the trimming, the sanding. So the process to take a piece from start to finish, if you were to use a stopwatch, would probably be 4 or 5 hours. However, the true answer to make a finished piece is 45 years. So my search is to find pieces, I make functional pieces, find pieces that people want to use. And when they do, then they have, it's not just one-time purchase for them, they get a chance to use it over and over. And because of that, I think that that is very exciting for me when a customer comes back at some point and says, I love using that bowl, I use it every day. And because of that, it motivates me to make that next piece. Art for Heaven's Sakes is a tremendous opportunity for artists in our area to show their work. I started displaying there in 2006, and with actually displaying my pottery for sale, I also demonstrate on a potter's wheel. If you decide to purchase one of my pieces, they'll be offered and you'll be able to pay for those items through PayPal, and we'll arrange for you to pick up the items, or we'll deliver the items to you, or we'll ship them to you at our cost. Please visit my website, davidporraspottery.com.